The quicker you realize that you're not everybody's cup of tea, but you will still be sipped, life will be a lot easier.
Lost account, I used to say so like adamantly that people don't like me. People like what I say, right? I find myself having to answer the question, why don't I deactivate my accounts when I need a break and then come back to the audience that I've built? And 100% of the time, it's because the person I was when I deactivated the account is not the person that's going to come back on the social media spaces. Like, the growth rate is unreal and unprecedented. Like, even now, I'm doing this whole, like, changing laws thing, and I want to get to parliament to enact some laws that don't exist to protect people like me. The version of me that would do that is not the person who was on TikTok when I was first putting out the Heineken case, right? So I find that when people develop an audience, the audience tends to want you to stay in that position for long periods of time. They want you to, if I found you angry, I want your content to continuously be angry. And I want to give people the opportunity to, like, if you meet me through my content and you think you resonate with it, and I grow out of that who you found, I want to give you the opportunity to reintroduce yourself to the person I am now and decide whether you want to like that or not. You may come into contact with me now and realize that I don't think the same way I thought when you first came into contact with me. And you have every opportunity to be like, oh, I don't like this version of her. I like the one where she was angry and sad and like depressed and all of that. And now that I'm finding like different avenues of like thought trains and different ways of thinking, it becomes interesting to me to engage with people who I had relations with previously, because the expectation is that I'm still thinking the way I thought, and you can't grow and hold on to certain ideologies, because one must remember that at any given point all your thoughts are either regurgitations of people's opinions on earth, or you are taking thoughts and you're formulating your own existence of being, right? I'm finding now, which is very interesting, that the versions of me prior to this version of me, like, believed to a certain extent that there was no escape to suffering. Because, you know, you're a black woman, you live in a country that doesn't acknowledge the marginalizations towards black womanhood. And so there's a lot of ills that come with being a black woman. There's a lot of ills that come with being a black person. So a year ago, I wasn't of the understanding that the world is extremely racist in the way that it is. Like, now I've made peace. Like, people don't like black people. That has nothing to do with me. I just happen to be a black person. But I'm at a point in my life now where if you look at me, you don't like me based on my skin color. It's your prerogative. If that makes you happy, do it. Just don't expect me to participate in it. But there are other conversations that are similar to this that I don't think I found the words to express it, but I'm simply not in that headspace anymore, and I don't want to engage in that headspace, because that version of me had to die to give birth to this version of me. And I'm so in love with this version of me, and people don't like it when black people are happy. And I've come to find that suffering is not mandatory. No matter how black you are, no matter how woman you are, no matter how like tough life is for black women, there is versions of existence where you can be black and female and extremely happy, and it's not performative. You don't have to convince people. You don't even have to convince yourself, because you can feel it. Like, there's an ounce of, I'm out of this state of having to prove myself and to make people understand. I'm out of this, like, what you can see now that's different from my previous content is previously I'd like want engagement, and I'd want people to engage with the things that I'm saying, knowing that social media is not like the most intellectual of spaces. Now, I've become so comfortable being the intellectual being that I am, whereas in the previous, I think I got a couple of thousand followers in the previous TikTok account, which was beautiful. It's nice to have people who resonate with you. But in that version of my TikTok, I wasn't comfortable being smart. I wasn't comfortable being intelligent, because black women are put in this box where you're supposed to be hypersexual, you're supposed to be depressed, you're supposed to not like everything, and your life is supposed to be a reflection of that. So everything that you say is supposed to be like a complaint, and everything that you say, and I found that version of myself where I focused solely on everything that is wrong was so draining, and it kept me in a depressive state that when I deactivated that account very consciously, I knew that anytime I come back and integrate into society, I want to be me, because the version of me that exists now, I'm cool with myself. I'm cool with being smart. I'm cool with like being quirky and weird. And I'm having a lot of conversations pertaining to like freedom and what is freedom, what is liberation in the true essence of the word. And I don't want to be sad about the fact that people don't like black women. I don't want to be sad about the fact that people don't know how to love black women, because I've come to love myself and it's so beautiful. But I'm finding that a lot of people who engaged with me in the previous account want me to be in that state. And so when I'm not like speaking the way I would have a year ago, it becomes jarring. And I'm not always gonna be your cup of tea. And I'm okay with that. I don't know if you're gonna be okay with that. And that's also it's got nothing to do with me. And I'm at a place where, it's so liberating. Like, I'm so happy. Like, it's not performative even. Like, I'm not trying to convince you. I don't care if you think I'm happy or not. But I'm also not going to tap into the constant state of being unhappy because everything is so wrong. Because it keeps me unfocused on the things that are going right. Like, I'm healthy. I'm not dead, which was a big thing that I was afraid of previously. And I love knowledge. Like, the more I internalize things, the more I see the world differently, which means the more I can create the version of the world that I want to exist in. And that is so beautiful. So I guess the reason I stitched this was to say that, like, even if I was your cup of tea a couple of years ago, or last year, or a few months ago, or even a few weeks ago, or even a few days ago, and I'm not your cup of tea now, I'm completely okay with that.
I love this version of myself also. I love who I am. I love how outspoken I am. I love how defensive I am of myself. I love how I stand up for myself. I love that I'm growing, and I love intellectually. I love that I make money, and I make money for myself. I love that about me. I continuously love the space that I grow in because it makes me happy. I love that I'm not bounded to a man to feel a worth of myself. I love that I'm on my own and I can feel the worth of my own. Do you understand? I love that I've realized the woman that I am, and it did not have to be with a man. It had to be with myself. I love that about me. I love that I can have this immense growth. I love that. I love that I'm not everyone's cup of tea. And that's the space I'm in right now. I love that. And I want it to be like that. I don't want to be sipped by everyone else. Because being sipped by everyone else means that I have to accommodate you. I don't want to accommodate you. I want you to keep in mind that I am growing for me. I'm not growing for you. And I will never will. And don't think that just because I'm in the space that I'm in, I'm depressed or sad. I'm not sad or angry. I am who I'm supposed to be given the circumstances that I've been through. I used to let people walk all over me, do whatever they want to do to me, and I would never stand up for myself. That gave birth to me now. And I feel like I make it clear every single time. I make it clear every single time that I'm not for everyone. I don't want to be. Leave me alone, okay? I don't want that fame even. I don't want that kind of thing anyway. So leave me alone.